Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. In the previous video, we will learn how to create the Flutter UI for our registration page by using NodeJS API. And in this video, we will learn how to create the login page UI with our NodeJS API. And this is our application. And here we will put any email ID. In the case, if we put any invalid email ID and if we click on the sign in, it will give us the message invalid email. And if we put here valid email and then we will click on the sign in, we will get invalid email and password because we are putting the invalid email ID here. Now here, if I put valid email, raman@snippetcoder.com, here I will put the password. Now if I click on the sign in, it will give us the message user logged in successfully. Now if I click on the OK, we will land it to the home page. Now if I reload the application, it will keep us in our home page because that login information has been stored in the application. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, we have to go to our pages folder, and from there we will create a new page, login_page.dart file, and we will make it as a stateful visit, login page, and here we will import. Now we will go to our main.dart file, and from there we will copy this line and we will paste here. Here we will change it to login, and this one we will change it to login page. So now we will go to our register page, and from there we will link our login page. We have to go to the bottom, and there we have the link, and here the link for the sign in, and here we will add recognizer, and we will put a tab gesture recognizer on tab is equal to brackets, and from here we will add the code for our navigate to login page. We will put here navigator dot of context dot push name and remove until. Here we will put the login/login, and we will copy the same code and we will put here also. After getting the registration completed successfully, we will redirect user to the login page. So now we will open our application and to see is it working or not. So here we are in the registration page, and now if I click on the sign in page, you can see here we are landed to our sign in page that is coming as a blank. Now we will design our login page. So from here we will return safe area, and here we have the child, and we will return here scaffold visit. Then we have the body here, and the body color we are using a colors.white color. Then we have the body here. Here the background color we are using here white. Then we have the body here, and from here we will use progress HOD. Then we have the child here, and we are using a form, and here we have to create some variables. Bool is async call process is equal to false. Then we will have static final global key form state global key is equal to global key form state. Then here we have string nullable type of email, string nullable type of password. Then we have boolean hide password, and we will make it as a true. Then we have boolean is remember is equal to false. Now from here we will return is async call, and we will assign with our is async call process. And here we have the opacity, and we are using here 0.3. Then we have the key, and we are using here unique key. Here we have the form, and we have to assign the key, and we are using a global key. Then the child, we have to create the new form. We will put here underscore login UI, and here we will create a method for login UI. We will put here return type as a visit, and we will make it as a underscore login UI. From here we will return single child scroll view. Here we have the child, and we are using a column visit. Main axis alignment, we are using a main axis alignment dot start. Then we have the cross axis alignment, and we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. And here we have the children's, and here we are going to use image dot assets, and we will pick the image from the assets /images/shopping bag.png. You can see here we are getting the image here, and we have to use the width as a 150. Then we have to use the fit. We are using here boxFit.contain, and we will wrap it with our align visit, or we can also use the center visit here. Now you can see here it is coming in the center, and from the top we have to give some spacing, and we can use here size box. Height we are using it 10. Same we have to do after the image. Now here we will put the label, and we will use here text visit grocery app, and from here we will wrap it with our center visit. So now we will do some styling to the text, and here we will put style text style, and here we are using the font weight dot bold. Then we have the font size, and we are using here 35, and the font color, that is already black. Then we will put the size box here for the spacing. Now again we will use the text widget and we will put here login, and we will wrap it with our center widget, and we will do some styling here. We will put a text style. Font weight, we are using here font weight dot bold. Then we have the font size and we are using a 20. Now again we will put some spacing here, and a color we will put here colors dot deep orange accent. Then here we will use the form helper dot input field widget, and the key name we are using here email. Then we have the hint text we are using here e-mail. Then we have the onValidate event that we will cover later on, and then we have the onSaved event that also we will cover later on. So now we will do some styling here. Here we will put show prefix icon true. Then we have the prefix icon and we are using here icons dot email outline. Then we have the border radius and we're using it 10. Then we have the content padding and we're using a 15. Then we have the font size, we are using a 14. Then here we have the prefix icon padding left and we will put here 10. Then we have the border color and we're using here colors dot gray shade 200. Then we have the prefix icon color and we are using a colors dot black color. Then we have the hint font size and we're using a 14. Then here we have the hint color, we're using a colors dot black color with opacity 0.6. Then we have the background color and we're using a colors dot gray color shade 100. Then we have the border focus color, we are using a colors dot gray color dot shade 200. Then here in the onSave we will assign the value email is equal to onSave dot toString dot trim, and in the onValidate we will check here if onValidate dot is empty, we will return here required. Then here we will use the regular expression for checking if it is a valid email ID or not, and this is the regular expression. And here we have to put here, we have to create one variable bool email valid is equal to, we are using a regular expression. Then here we are calling the function as match on the basis of this value, and we will check here if not of email valid, then we will return here return invalid email, else we will return here null. Now after that we have to give some spacing here. We will copy this size box and we will paste here. Here we will paste. Now we have to copy this email form helper and we will paste here for the password, and here we will change it to password, and this one also we will change it to password. From here we will remove the regular expression, and this variable we will change it to password, and we will change the icon here. We will use a locked open, and rest of the things are same here. After this we will put the spacing here, and here we will use the form helper dot submit button, and we will put here sign in, and here we have the on type event that we will cover later on, and we will wrap it with our center widget. Here we will do some styling here. We will put here between color colors dot deep orange accent. Then we will have border color and we will use here colors dot white color. Then we have the text color, we are using a colors dot white color. Then we have the border radius, we are using a 20. So now you can see here. After this we will put the link for don't have the account, and then we have that link for the sign up, and when user click on it, land user to the register page. And for doing that we have to use here rich text, and here we have the text and we are using a text span. Then we have the children's here and we are using a text spans, and here we will put text span. Text we will put here don't have an account, and color we will use here style text style color, we are using a colors dot black color. And now you can see here that is coming, but we have to wrap it with our center widget to show in the center, and we have to give some spacing also. For that we will use here size box, and here we will put the second text span here. Color we will change it to orange color, and we will change it to sign up, we can change it to deep orange accent. Now we have to give the on click event, and that we can also copy from our register page which we have added, and we will copy this recognizer and we will paste here, and from here we will redirect user to register page. We will change it to register. Now let's reload the application. So now if we go to a sign in, and from here if I click on the sign up, you can see here we are landed to the register page, and here we have to create one function here bool validate and save. We will have here final form is equal to global key dot current state, and we will check here form exclamation sign because it is a nullable. Validate. Then here from here we will call form dot save, and we will return here true, else we will return here false. And we will call this function. We will call this function from our button on click event, and we will call here if validate and save. Then only we will call the API. Now we will reload the application, and here if I click on a sign in, you can see here we are getting the error message. If I put invalid email, you can see here we are getting invalid email. Now if I put the valid email, if I again click on a sign in, you can see here the error message has been gone. So now let's move further, and now we will do the API integration. So now we have to go to our API service file, and for that we have to go to API folder. There we have that API service.dart file. Then here we have to create one function, static future of type bool, and we will name it as a login user. And here we have to give two parameters. First one is string type of email, then we have string type of password, and we will make it as async here. Then here we will get the request header map string request headers is equal to content type application JSON. Then here we have to get the URL, and for that we have to go to our config file, and here we have to copy this and we will paste here, and here we will put login, and same we have to name the variable name also. Now we will go back, and here we will get the URL is equal to uri.http. Here we have config.api URL, config.login API. Then here we will get that variable response is equal to await client.post request. Here we have to pass the URL. Then we have the headers here. We will pass here request headers. Then here we have the body, and we will put here JSON encode. We will get the object here email, and we will put here email. Then we have the password. We will put here password. Here we will check if response dot status code is equal to 200. Then we will return here true, else we will return here false. So now we will go to our UI, and from there we will call this API. Here we will call API service dot login user, and we will pass email, password. Then here we have to check, and before that we will set that value for API call process true. It will show the loader, and here we will change the value to false once that API request is completed. And here we will check, and this one we will change it to response, and we will check here if response, that means login successful. Then here we will show form helper dot show simple deluxe, and the title we will change it to config dot app name. Then here we have the message user logged in successfully. Then we have the button here, okay. Then here we have that on press event, and from here we will remove the pop-up navigator dot of context dot pop. Then from here we will redirect user to the home page, navigator dot push name and remove until, and here we will change the route to home. Here we have to add the home page route also, and here we will change it to home page. In the else condition we will show here this simple deluxe, and we will change it to invalid email or password, and we will remove that navigation. Let's reload the application to see is it working or not. And from here we will put any invalid email ID, and here we will put the password. We'll click on the sign in, and here we are getting the invalid email and password. In the password, we will forget one thing, that is show hide password, that we already covered in the register page also. That you can do on the basis of that also. And here, if we put the valid email ID, raman@snippetcoder.com. Here we will put that valid password. And now if I click on the sign in, you can see here we are getting a user logged in successfully. Now we will land it to the home page. Now issue is that if we reload the application, we will again go to the login page. So let's see here. So here you can see when we reload the application, we are getting redirect user to that register page. So for handling that, we have to store the login information in our local database, and for that we are going to use our Snippet Coder utility of that API cache manager, and on the basis of that we will store that token and the user login detail. So let's move further and we will integrate that process. And first of all, we have to go to that model folder, and from there we will create one model file, login_response_model.dart file. So here we have to create the class here, class login response model, and we have to create variable here, late final string message. Then we have late final data, and we have to create one class for data here. Inside the class we have some variable, and we are using a late final string full name, and we will have next variable as a email. Then we will have user ID, then we will have token here, and here we will create the constructor required this dot full name, and again we have to do for the email, user ID and token. And from here we will add data dot from JSON map string dynamic JSON, and here we will do the assignment, full name is equal to JSON full name. Same we have to do for the other variables also, email, user ID and token. And here we will create one function for toJSON. Return type will be map string dynamic toJSON. Here we will create final underscore data is equal to string dynamic underscore data full name is equal to full name, and we will copy this and we will paste here for the other variables, email, user ID and token. And from here we will return data underscore data. Now we will go back here and we will do the same for login response dot from JSON. Parameter we will have string dynamic JSON, and here we have message is equal to JSON message, because the data which we are going to get in that object of this response model, which will have message and the data. Inside the data we will have that object for this class, and here we will do data is equal to data dot from JSON, and we will pass here JSON data. And from here we will create map string dynamic to JSON. Here we will have final underscore data is equal to string dynamic, and we will create the object here. Here we have data message is equal to message. Then we'll have data is equal to data dot to JSON. So what it will do, we have data dot JSON and it will return the object format to that this data, and from here we will return underscore data. So what we are doing here, we have created one class for login response, and from here we will doing that mapping and all, and here we are doing that to JSON to store the data. Then we have that class for data, and there we have full name, email, user ID and token, and here we have that constructor. Then here we have that data.fromJSON, and this will be used for assigning the data and all, and this toJSON is used to return the data here in that JSON format. So now let's move further, and we will create one class here, and we will create one folder for utils, and from here we will create the class shared service dot file. And before that we have to add the dependency for our API cache manager. So this is a package which we are going to use, API cache manager, and the version we are using here 1.0.2. So now we will go to our shared service, and here we will create class shared service. Here we have to create some variable here, static, and here we have to create some functions here, static, future type, bool, and the name of the function is logged in, and we will make it as async here. Here we have to create one variable is cache key exists is equal to await API cache manager dot is API key exists. Here we have to give the key name, and the key name we are using here login underscore. Instead of putting here hard coded, we have to create one variable constant key name is equal to constant string login underscore key, and we have to make it as a static here, and we will use this key here, and from here we will return is cache key exists. So what it will do, it will check for this key name if it is exists. On the basis of that we will return here that is user is logged in, else we will return here false, that means user is not logged in. Then here we have to create one more function, static, future type is void set login details, and here we have to pass the variable as a login response model. We will make it as async here, and here we have to create one object for that API cache DB model. Cache DB model is equal to API cache DB model, and here we have to pass the key name. In the sync data we have to call here JSON encode, and we will pass the object here this model dot to JSON, and from here we will just call here await API cache manager dot add cache data, and we will pass here cache DB model. So what we are doing here, we have created one function for set login detail, and we will pass here the model which we are getting from the API response from our NodeJS API, and we will create the object for our API cache DB model with that key name login underscore key, and then we have the sync data here, and we are creating here, we are passing here JSON encode with that model dot to JSON, and then we are calling here API cache manager dot add cache data, and we are just passing that parameter as a cache DB model class object. And from here we will create one more function, static future login response model. We will make it as a nullable here. Name of the function we will put here login details. We will make it as async here, and from here also we will copy this key, and we will check here if is cache key exists. Then we will create one variable where cache data is equal to await API cache manager dot get cache data, and we have to pass this key, and from here we will return login response model, and we have to create one function over there, and we will go there, and here we have to create one function, small function, and we will create here login response model string, and the name of the function we will put here login response JSON. We will pass here string str login response model dot from JSON, and we will pass here str and we will call here JSON decode, and we'll pass this str here, and we have to import here dart convert. So now from there we will call this login response JSON, and we'll pass a cache data dot sync data. So what we are doing here, so here you can see we have stored that sync data in the format of JSON encode with that model.to JSON. So now we are getting the data from the cache data, and we have to decode the data now on the basis of the data which we have stored in our database in the string format, and here we have to decode it in the object format. In the else condition, we will return here null. And here we have to add one more function, and that will be used for the logout, and we will put here static future as a void logout. We will pass a build context, and we will make it as async here. We will call here API cache manager dot delete cache, and we will pass the key name, and this is the key name which we have to pass, and it will delete that key from our database. So now next time this function, if call is logged in, it will return false because that key will not exist in our system, because we already deleted on the when we call this logout function. Then from here we will call navigator, and from here we will call navigator dot push name and remove until, and here we have to call the route slash login, and we will redirect user to the login page. So now we have to go to our API service file, and here in the status code 200 we have to call here EP08 shared service dot set login details, and from here we will call login response JSON, and here we will pass response dot body. So what it will do, it will check if the status code is 200, that means user is logged in successfully. Then we will store the information in our database on the basis by calling this function set login details, and from here it will store the information in our local database, and here we will return true. So now we will move further, and we will go to our main.dart file, and here in the main.dart file we have to create one variable here, visit, and here we have to do the integration of this shared login, and in the case if the user is logged in, and it will check when the application is loaded if user is logged in or not. On the basis of that, it will redirect user to that specific page. Here we have underscore default home is equal to constant login page, and we will make this main function as a async here, and from here we will call visit flutter binding dot ensure initialize. Here we will call bool underscore result is equal to await shared service dot is logged in, and here we will check if result, that means user is logged in. Then we will set this default home as a constant home page, and from here we will just remove this home, and here we will put slash context underscore default home. So now let's reload the application to see is it working or not. So here we are getting that login page. So now if I put any invalid email ID first, raman@snippet coder.in, and here we will put the password. Now if I click on the sign in, we are getting here invalid username password. So now if I change it to .com, now if I click on the sign in, you can see here we are getting user logged in successfully. So now we are in the home page. So now if from here if I reload the application again, you can see here we are still in the home page because that login information is stored in our application. Previously it is redirecting us to our login or register page, and now it is staying in our home page because that user is already logged in and the token detail and everything is stored in our local database. So that's all in this video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome video. Thank you for watching the video.